Hello. Good to
Hello,
see you.
everyone.
I love seeing all of you coming in from different places. Yes, I am feeling. Ooh, there we go. Okay, so Nina put in the comment there. I thought I'd highlight it on screen real quick. Who has never commented before? Actually, we talked to someone we had an open house. I don't know if you remember, like
a couple years ago.
Yep. And she came in and introduced herself, and I said, well, what's your name? I probably recognize it from the lives. And she goes, I've never commented
I wonder
before.
if she's watching.
I don't know.
Well, hello if you're watching.
So say hello in the comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from. It's so much fun when we get some interaction going. That's part of the fun about all of this. So we're excited to be here today. You guys got a little sneak peek of what we're going to do, but you haven't seen it all yet.
No, not yet. I'm still reading comments. I should pay attention to what you're saying.
No, go ahead. I will say, I think you hit it out of the park.
This is a fun one.
It's a fun one. Here's what I think you guys are going to love about it. It's got like a cute vibe to it. Like there's cute little elements, but the quilting is like elegant and up-leveled. And the fabric choices.
There's a fun different technique that we don't normally do in this one as well.
So you'll probably learn something new, try something new. I love the fabrics. We'll get into the fabrics a little bit, but I love they're like a rich, like coppery, and then like a forest green, and just really, really pretty. So we're excited to show that to you today. All right. If you are new here, you don't really know what you're watching, or maybe you kind of understand it a little bit, but you've maybe never done anything Hoop Sisters before, put the number 1 in the comments, because we want to say hi to you and make sure that we welcome you properly and go into depth into what it is that you are watching for sure. And then, of course, there we go. Miss Lindy nailed it. Welcome, Janet. Glad you're here. Oh, and Rita, number 1. Charlie, good to see you guys. Okay, perfect. And then, as you can see, if you consider yourself a Hoop Sister or Hoop Mister, the number 2 in the comments for you would be fantastic. Okay, so there we go. And I always love the number 2 plus 2.5 2 5
plus. Yep.
There you go. So you're true Hoop Sisters. Well, welcome. And if you don't consider yourself a Hoop Sister or Hoop Mister just yet, stick around. I bet you will in a little bit. But we want to kind of introduce you to the whole family. Why don't you do that part?
Yeah. So Aubrey and I are here today, and although we are sisters, we are not the Hoop Sisters. So Hoop Sisters is owned by the original sisters, Annie and Linda. They are there in the center of that picture, and then Aubrey and I are on the outside. So next to me is Linda. Yep, Susan gave them the warning.
Oh, that's funny.
But next to me in the picture is Linda, and then right next to Linda is actually our mom, Annie. So we have a lot of fun together, don't we?
We really do. Sometimes we're goofy. Who knows? Okay, you never know what you're going to get, but you are going to have a good time. So we'll just say that. So yes, absolutely. And when we've adopted some people too along the way, including a lot of you here in the comments. So, okay, what is a workshop? So we call this a workshop. It's a 2-day virtual event. It doesn't cost you a darn thing to attend. You're probably going to learn something or kind of reinforce something that maybe you've learned along the way. Perfect for embroidery machine lovers. And what do we do on here?
Mickey said she's up for adoption. But on here, we showcase a brand new quilt and hoop design, and then we're going to show you how to make it. So today we're going to show you how to stitch a block from the design that we'll show you in a moment. And then tomorrow we typically show, and what we're doing tomorrow is trimming your block, pinning your blocks together, and joining. So that is the fun kind of educational aspect of these things. And we always hear from everyone, even those of you who've been around for years, you say that you always learn something during these. So that really is the goal, to have fun and to learn something, pick up a little bit of a little nugget here and there. But then we also include some limited time pricing and bundle bonus incentives if you should choose to participate and say that you want to make this design too. So
absolutely. So that's what you're signing up for. Okay. So the other thing that we really love to do is if you register to attend one of our virtual workshops, we also like to gift you a little something, a little project for you to work on in your embroidery machine. And this one is so cute.
It is cute. Cute little black. And we'll tell you something a little more about this black and after we show you the design.
Yes.
Because it kind of has a couple different uses. But yeah, that cute little fresh donuts served daily black.
Yes. And I'm seeing so many fun comments about fear of missing out. So
I know.
I think that's funny. I understand. I can relate to that. Okay. So I don't know, you might have just said this, but sometimes I say things that you already said because I'm not listening.
We don't listen to each other, do we?
Well, it's hard when there's so many comments rolling in.
You like to read comments.
Yeah. So this is still available, and it is available, this registration gift, just till 3 p.m. today, which is less than an hour from right now as we are live. Speaking of, actually, we'll have Nina drop the link. So Nina will drop the registration link. Okay. FMO means fear of missing out.
So funny. Yes, you have an apology.
I do. I have to issue an apology. I screwed up. And Wanda, oh my goodness, is watching from Sydney, Australia. And when I created the link for the stream today, weeks ago, I put the wrong time. I put noon and it's 2. So for her, that's a difference of 2 a.m. versus 4 a.m. So I apologize, Wanda, but just so you know, I would be asleep at both of those times. So anyways, I apologize. And I'm glad that you are here watching. Okay. All right. So the registration link has been dropped. So if you want this thing on screen for free, all you have to do, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, is click the link that we just dropped and put in your email address. We will email it to you. Okay. So pretty fun. Gotta love free projects, especially when they're super cute like that. You actually told me that a lot of people got creative with this block and put extra fabric.
Made cute little added fabric in the donuts and made cute little, there were lots of pink donuts, which I thought was really, really cute.
Yeah, it is cute.
By the way, speaking of donuts, I can't wait to show them one of the blocks in here.
Oh yeah.
It's one of my favorites.
We haven't even shown you yet, but we both have like favorites in this quilt. So I don't know if they're the same or not.
I think they're different.
I think they are too.
I think I'm stitching your favorite today.
Okay. Woohoo. All right. So the other thing we want you to know is around here, you can always get help. So if for some reason you're not getting your registration gift or your cart's not looking how you thought it should as we kind of progress through this, you can always reach out to us directly. That's the easiest way for us to help you with your specific situation. Of course, if you have a question during the demo, we will do our best to answer it live. We're streaming a couple places and comments rolling in from a few places. So if we don't get to your question or you have something specific to you, please reach out to Nina. She's in the comments in both places as well. So she'll be answering as much as she can in there, but you can also reach out to her directly. So don't feel like you're on an island and you're like, okay, I watched it, but now what? So go ahead and reach out if need be. Okay. I know that the picture is coming up at some point and I'm like nervous. Oh, okay. I put one in it. I'm like, is it this next slide? Okay. Who's ready to see? I told you all, I warned you like a month ago that our fall lineup was incredible this year.
I love these fall projects. They're so fun.
So I think I told you like 2-3 workshops ago that fall was going to be amazing. Have I led you astray yet? I don't think so. So, okay. This is going to be one of my favorites for the year, but this one is called Cider and Donuts. And we're going to hold this baby up. Let's actually hold it up now and get it under the close-up camera so you're not straining your eyes to see my tiny little picture. Okay. Okay. Sarah.
Let's do it.
Oh,
okay. So this is Cider and Donuts. And that last slide, Aubrey, I was reviewing your slides the other day and I saw it said 12 unique blocks. And I know you get that information from me when I make these. Yeah. But I was second guessing myself.
So you had to count.
12 is so many unique blocks, but there are 12 unique blocks.
Hey, we had it right.
Crazy?
Yeah.
So this is jam-packed with all things cider and donuts. So I think this is your favorite, isn't it, Aubrey? The Happy Fall mug. It's this cute. Now the fabric that we used and that's in our fabric kit is it's called Coin. It's a fairy frost fabric. It's really, really pretty. So it almost looks like a copper mug.
Yes.
With obviously apple cider and your little sprig of rosemary or thyme or whatever sprig of
something in there.
You want to put in there. And the cute little apple slice. And then this one is, and maybe I should go over some of these details over here. Yeah, let me put it over here.
We'll get it to the close-up cam because the details are incredible. Okay,
so here's the Happy Fall little apple slice mug. And then this one is kind of like you're looking down at a plate of donut holes. So you have all your donut holes right here. This one is a donut that I've taken a bite out of already. And then another mug with your little apple stitched on there. Super cute. Right here is like a jug of apple cider. And I'm getting a lot of reflection, so it's hard to see, I think, but this does say cider on it. This has vinyl over the top to give it like a really glass look to it. This cool. Is as though you're looking at the top of a mug, right? So here's our handle from the top. Here's your cinnamon stick sitting over the top of your mug. And then I think this is like a clove. Forgive me if I'm wrong on this.
Yeah.
And then some little cranberries.
We're making Carolyn hungry.
And then your stack of 3 donuts right here. Super cute. And then you have an apple here. And then there's another apple over here. And some of these blocks repeat in the bottom, but not all of them. So this is my favorite block. This is a box of donuts. So a cute little box of donuts. And then there's vinyl over the opening. So it's kind of like your craft box right here. And then this is your opening with vinyl over it. And you can see your assorted donuts there. Obviously another donut. And then these 1, 2, 3, and this one are repeated from the top side, but just using different fabrics. So really fun. And then you can see the warm up with some hot apple cider block right there. Now, real quick, while we're here, I want to talk to you about this because this is still open until 3 o'clock to get this block for free. This block is the same size as this block. So if you'd rather have this one in here, yes, Chris, calorie-free donuts. Don't we all love that? Calorie-free, sugar-free.
Yep.
You can alternate kind of your layout and play with where you want your blocks. And you can include this in your cider and donuts wall hanging if you wanted to.
How fun is that?
And then we can't forget the border. Excuse me.
I might have given my cold to Sarah, you guys.
Yeah, she did share it with me.
Sorry.
Okay. So what did I miss in talking about this? I'm going to grab a sip of water.
Well, did you talk about the border?
Just a little bit. You want to say something about it while I take a drink?
So the border is phenomenal. Also, I cannot get enough of this fabric. We do have a fabric kit. We will get into the details on that. You guys know those don't last. So if you put, I'm a number 2 in the comments and you know you want this, we'll have Nina drop the order link before we even get into all the details. This is phenomenal. The quilting is beautiful, straight line quilting there, but this kind of echoes through in the background quilting. Can you guys see this? So, and if you're new and you put a number 1, we should probably mention that all of the quilting that you see in our designs is included, not for a separate purchase, not to need a long arm. All this is done in the hoop of your embroidery machine.
And the quilting is a little bit different in each of the blocks. I won't say they all have unique quilting. Like in the background of both of the apple blocks, it's the same quilting. It's apple quilting, but most of them have a little bit different background quilting. One thing I did forget to say. Oh my goodness. Let's stop coughing.
Where's your water?
One thing I did forget to say was we do the wool part of this design a little bit different. So if you are someone who likes to use wool in your quilts or wall hangings, pay attention to when we're stitching this block because it's actually really fun how we do it. Wool is not in the entire block. So, you know, normally your second step is to tack down your optional wool over the entire block. For this particular design, wool, like in this block, is just where our donut is. It's only in this part. So it gives it kind of that three-dimensional effect.
Which is even better in person, of course.
And then same for like this block. There's wool and where the donuts are, so it gives it a lot of dimension and texture. But there is not wool where the background quilting is.
Very cool. Okay. Why don't you take a drink of water while I talk about some of the quilt details? Here's the other thing I always love to ask the designer, whether it's Sarah or Annie or Linda, is this quilt considered beginner friendly? And Sarah said, yes, it's beginner friendly. I can't remember exactly why you said that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I honestly think that everything we do, I would say, is pretty beginner friendly. We typically say like a large heirloom quilt with a lot of blocks. We're not going to recommend that as your first quilt, although you could do it. But this quilt is largely just applique. So if you've done applique before on your embroidery machine, you can do this. It is so easy. And if you've never made a quilt in the hoop of your machine, hang out with us while we stitch out the block today and then come back tomorrow, because we're going to walk you through how to join the blocks too. If you're a beginner, you can totally do this.
Love that. Okay. So if you are new around here, it's also nice. Again, I was reading comments, so forgive me if you already said this. It's a good size project. It's a nice doable size, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
And it comes in the two sizes.
Yes. So we've got the small size. So, and both sizes are included, as Sarah just said, but it comes with a small size, which you're going to need like a 5x7 type hoop for that. So if your hoop's a 5x7, you can do this. If you want to make the large, what size is this? Larger?
This is the small size.
Small. Okay. So the larger size, you would need a 7x9" hoop. And then if you're making the small size, it's going to be about 25.5 inches squared, whereas the large goes up to 35.5 inches squared. Okay. I will say too, this is available for just $45. You're getting 12 unique blocks, this beautiful border, 2 sizes. So love that. And you can get it on USB or digital download. All quilting is included. Okay. Let's see. All right. Sorry. I just got distracted by comments. Okay. So I know that you guys are going to ask about the sizing. So there you go. There's the sizes. And yes, we do consider it beginner friendly. All right. We're going to put Sarah to work over at her machine.
Alrighty. So let's stitch our block now. We are going to stitch the mug block with the apple slice on it. It's a really fun block to stitch. They're all fun to stitch.
Quick question that I thought a couple times. The fabric kit is separate. So the $45 is for the design, all the embroidery files, the quilting, and both sizes. That's the $45. We will get into the kit shortly. It is also on the website, so we'll drop the link. But the fabric kit is separate, and it has something really cool in it, which we'll get to.
Yes, yes. Okay, so over at the machine, I have our battleizer in the hoop. If you've never worked with battleizer, it's a great product. It replaces stabilizer and batting. So that's how we got battleizer. It's essentially batting with the scrim of the stabilizer on it. So it holds up really nice to dent stitching, but it still has a lot of movement in it so that you don't end up with something really rigid. So I have battleizer in the hoop, and then I stitched our placement stitch, which is step 1. You'll want to do this with a water-soluble thread, and there's a few reasons why we say water-soluble thread. I'll get to those kind of as we stitch our block here. So I did step 1. Now we're on step 2, and for step 2, we are going to take our background fabric, and we're going to align it over our placement stitch. So look at me with a cream colored background fabric.
Shocked.
That blends right in. When I place this, I do like to lift up on those edges, just make sure it's nicely centered over our placement stitch. And then still with a water soluble thread, we will sew our tack down as well as the placement stitch for our applique. And if you have any questions while I'm stitching the block, be sure to leave those in the comments and we will try to answer those as we can. And if we can't answer it in that exact moment, we'll make sure that we star it so we get to that answer before the end of the live. All these donut comments are making me hungry. Okay, this next step is going to stitch our background quilting. So we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to leave that thread in the needle that kind of matches my background fabric. We'll get that quilting stitched and then we get to move on to the fun part where we're adding our wool and our fabric. So Sandy asked, do you ever need to use stabilizer with the battleizer? No, Sandy, you do not need to use both. I would not recommend using both, actually. The battleizer, I'll find a little scrap and I'll show you, but battleizer is batting that has the scrim of stabilizer on the back of it. So the scrim is what's going to make sure that it holds up and doesn't stretch out or anything when you're stitching like a satin stitch. Like this block you'll see, Sandy, has a lot of satin stitching on it. And it still holds up really nicely to those dense satin stitches.
I also thought this was a cute comment.
I kind of think that spelling might make a little more sense.
Yeah.
A few extra letters in there, but it does make sense.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. Karen wants to know if there is a right side to use battleizer. So Karen, I would not say that there's a right and a wrong side. I think your block is going to stitch wonderfully no matter which side you hoop facing up. However, the side of the battleizer, let's see if I can do this. Okay, I'm just kind of picking at the corner. And it didn't come apart too nicely, but can you guys kind of see this down here? I know that's probably really hard to see. This is the scrim, and then this is the batting. I had to really pick at it to get that to come apart. I like to hoop it with the scrim side down. If you're adding fabric, backing fabric in the hoop, backing fabric tends to cling to the scrim a little bit nicer. But as far as hooping, if you can't tell the difference between the two sides, do not worry about it because your block is going to look and stitch out wonderfully no matter which side is up or down or however you hoop it. Okay, so now we're going to move on to step 4. We've got our quilting on there. We're moving on to step 4. For this step, we are going to align the mug fabric over the placement. And then if you want to use the additional wool batting to give a little more dimension to your mug, you're going to place that under your mug fabric. So here's my wool batting. I cut it to size according to my supply chart for this block. And then here is my fabric for my mug. I'm just going to kind of layer those. And then I'm going to align them over the placement for the mug.
So this is a different way than we normally do wool.
Yep. So if you like to use wool, watch this part. It's really cool. It's fun. And I'll just, again, like normal when I have just fabric, peek under there, make sure my whole mug is covered. And then you can use a water-soluble thread or a thread that matches your fabric in this instance and sew the tack down stitching.
Thank you for your order, Susan. You're going to love it.
Okay, now before we go on to the next step, we're going to trim our block up a little bit. So all of our fabric, we're going to trim along all sides as close as we can to our tack down stitching. I'm going to use our Hoop Scissors Mini. So here's our cute little Hoop Scissors Mini, this nice offset handle and that fine point on the end to help me get as close as I can in any corners. And I want to get right up to our tack down stitching. So I'm going to trim through both layers at one time. And while I do it, I'm going to leave my hoop on a hard, flat surface. Please don't put it in your lap because you don't want to wiggle your design and your hoop at all, get it out of alignment, and then have to restitch. I'm just kind of turning as I'm trimming. And normally this is the point where I would tell you apply just a little bit of outward pressure. So if you're not using wool, I think that this works better. If you're using the wool, I wouldn't do this just because you got a few more layers to cut through right there. But if you're not using wool, just tug outward on your fabric a little bit as you trim, and it gives you a really nice clean cut. All right. Okay, so now I can kind of see that extra dimension on camera, but I can see it so much more in person.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got that wool just under the mug right here. So now we're going to move on to step 5. And for this step, we are going to take the apple fabric. This is like the inside of our apple. So it's a white fabric. And we're going to align it over that placement stitch at the top. Just peek under it, make sure it covers nicely. And then we'll sew our tack down with water-soluble thread. So this is one reason I like water-soluble thread a lot. You don't have to rethread your machine. Up to this step, we have only rethreaded our machine with our quilting fabric to stitch that background quilting, but it just makes it really easy. Okay, now I'm going to take my hoop off the machine again and leave it on that hard, flat surface. And again, with those hoop scissors mini and that offset handle, I'm going to trim my fabric close to my tack down stitching. I would say the same tips apply here. So just leave your hoop on a hard, flat surface. Apply a little gentle pressure outward on your fabric for a really nice clean cut. Just kind of spinning as I'm going. Okay, it doesn't look like much yet, but just wait. Just wait. So for this next step, we are going to stitch the apple cider that's inside the mug. So you just want to use a thread color that represents apple cider or whatever is inside your mug that you really like. Yeah, Deb said on camera the designs are great, but the actual designs in front of you are fabulous. And I agree, Deb. We do our best to show you guys on camera some of the aspects that we talk about and how amazing these really look, but in person, they're really cool to see. Thank you, Patricia. Patricia says she ordered already. Thank you, ma'am. Deidre said, I'm definitely a beginner and I would happily tackle this one having done your free pumpkin mug rug. That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely think that you could do this. If you can do one of the free blocks that you did, like that pumpkin mug rug, you can definitely do this one. I love that the machine does all the heavy lifting. Me too. That's my favorite part. Okay, so now I actually went ahead and prepared ahead of time, if you can imagine. And I did a few steps. So I did some of the satin stitching steps so that you guys don't have to watch as we satin stitch on our mug. And we can get to some of those other fun details. But so I did, the next step would be to sew the apple peel. So we're going to stitch that with a red thread, and it's the apple peel right around our apple fabric. And then the following step is to stitch the satin stitch on your mug. So you'll just do both of those steps. This first step I mentioned, step 7, you do with the red thread because it's your apple peel. Step 8, which is the satin stitching along the edges of the mug, you'll do with a thread that matches your fabric. Let me grab my other hoop.
Look at the comment.
What's it say? Oh, thank you, Pauline. That's too nice. Okay, so like I said, I did those 2 steps, and I did do one more. So after the satin stitching for the mug, then you're gonna put, I would recommend like a dark brown thread. It will stitch like the center of your apple as well as the stem for the rosemary or thyme that you have in here. I'd say it's rosemary that's in there. I don't know what's in there actually. You'll have to tell me, Aubrey. My directions say rosemary. I should read my directions.
Oh, there you go.
So now at this point, we are going to move on to step 10, and we are going to stitch our rosemary with green thread. This just shows you how much I know about spices. I know more about stitching a block than I do spices, huh? So maybe, let me trim this up a little. I'll get this green thread and the needle, and then we will stitch this. Are they laughing at me?
No, I'm laughing at this person said they held out a whole 45 seconds before they ordered it.
Okay, so green thread is the needle. We're stitching our rosemary. Dorothy said, use that threader. Okay, this step is almost done, and then we have one more step. It's so cute. You guys in the comments crack me up. Cheryl said, when you're retired, aren't you required to make as many fear of missing out purchases as possible?
Well, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to leave my green thread in here. This is going to stitch Happy Fall. Aubrey, this will take a couple minutes to stitch. So while it stitches, if you want to take over and chat with them a little bit.
Okay. Can you man the comments so I don't miss anything? Okay, so here's what we're going to talk about now.
This gorgeous fabric. It's amazing. Of course, you guys know the drill. Limited supply. So don't yell at me when it's gone. It's gone. I'm warning you now. I'm going to take you over here and show you this gorgeous fabric. Okay, the fabric kits are only $46.99. And for what you're getting in here, that is an amazing price. All right, so when you get the kit, you're going to get this fabric document in there.
And this is enough to make the large cider and donuts. So if you make the large cider and donuts, you have everything you need. If you're going to make this small, you're going to have to cut it down a little bit, but it tells you the names of all of the fabrics. We're talking Michael Miller Cotton Couture, Poppy Cotton Country Confetti. It's got some Moda Bella solids. It's got all the good fabrics. Look at this. I'm just going to show you some of this. This is obviously the Poppy Cotton Country Confetti. It's got this gorgeous red and these like rich browns. Here's a lighter brown. Look at this fairy frost. How beautiful. So gorgeous. Then here's that, like, I think it's called coin. And the camera and the light are not doing it any justice. This is incredibly gorgeous. Gives it that copper look, which we used in our border here. And we also used it in a couple other places, from donuts to a copper mug up in the corner. So that's where we used that. And then, of course, we've got this fabulous green. I'm a green person. I like green. And then some more of this. I mean, you're going to have a ton of cool stuff. But this part is also really cool. This is vinyl. So this kit includes vinyl, which I'm sure we will talk more about today or tomorrow at some point. Sarah will probably.
Yeah, we see a couple questions about how to use it, how to apply it, like to the.
Yeah. So the kit includes the vinyl. The vinyl is what gives this jug its little look, and it's also on top of our donuts. So it's pretty exciting. It is in the kit. So in the fabric kit, you will get some vinyl as well. Okay. Are you ready back over there?
Yes, I am. I have something sad to share, but I am.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I stopped my step. I need to do a little bit of surgery after.
Uh-oh.
Because my machine, my bobbin, got mad at me.
Oh, no.
So I've not had that problem before with this block, but this apparently was the time that this wanted to come up on my machine. So I'll just do a little bit of surgery later, and I'll finish out this block so that we can trim it tomorrow. But let's go back over to your camera, Aubrey. That was the last step on our block.
Okay.
So we'll go back over there and just show them again. Just show you guys again the block that we just stitched. It looks almost exactly like this block.
So pretty.
Yep. Use the same fabric and
sorry.
That's okay. And then you can see kind of the reverse image of this block is down at the bottom in here as well.
Ooh,
so really
I just
cute,
covered
really
that
fun.
up. Love it. Okay.
All righty. So a couple questions. Can I answer a question about vinyl?
Yes.
Someone asked if it was iron on vinyl or if you need a special needle or foot or anything like that. I don't change the needle or the foot that I'm using. And it's not iron on vinyl either. So there is a tack down stitch for the vinyl that goes right on the outside of your satin stitch. You're basically doing your applique using that coin colored fabric is what's right here. And then if you want the vinyl, it's optional, kind of like wool is. If you want the vinyl on there, after your satin stitch is done, you'll lay your cut vinyl on there. So it's cut to a square to fit over it, or rectangle in this case. And then there's a step that's digitized into the design that will tack it down. And then you'll just use your hoop scissors mini to trim close to that tack down stitching. So that's the same with this cider jug block and my favorite block, the box of donuts. So you don't have to use the vinyl. I highly recommend it, especially for this block. Super, super cute.
It is really cool.
But you don't have to use it. It is an optional step.
Yeah, really cool. Okay. All right. So the kits, I'm assuming, are going to go quickly. And again, they're limited supply. It does include the vinyl and all the fabrics to make your colorway look like Sarah's colorway for $46.99, which is pretty dang good. Let's talk about the bonus. In fact, I think you should come and talk about the bonus, if you don't mind. I'll move this.
Trade you.
Yeah. Look at this bonus. And I
Yeah,
think
so the
this too, right?
bonus are the cute little apple blocks that you see there on your screen. So the cool thing about the bonuses, I don't know where the other one snuck off to, but the cool thing about the bonuses they are sized so that you can utilize them in a few different areas in here as well. So if you want more apples, go ahead and place these in there. You can put those in and you can use those as blocks in the design. Same with the free gift that we talked about, the free gift with registration. So those are your bonuses. You can use them as mug rugs or just stitch them and trade out some blocks in here. So I think it's really fun when the bonus can kind of be used for a couple different things. And you can kind of make the layout your own by just moving around where those blocks are.
Yeah. How fun is that?
So yeah, those are the bonuses.
Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, I absolutely love the bonuses. I think these are perfect. Like I love when you can switch them out. And we've been doing that. You just did that with Tricks and Treats, I think.
You can't ask me questions like that.
I think
I
it
don't
was.
remember now.
But recently, and how cool is that? So love that. And okay, let's get into ordering, talk about all this stuff. So
I'm gonna watch some comments over
thank
here.
you. Okay, so workshop pricing. So this design is going to stay on the website. It'll be available for $45 going forward. So you can, for $45, get your hands on the design that includes the 12 unique blocks, the border files, the 2 sizes, all the quilting, $45. You can pick USB or you can pick digital download, okay? So you'll add that to your cart. Then if you need anything else, like you need this fabric kit or battleizer or trimmer, or you see another design in the new arrivals category and you add that to your cart with this design, a couple things are going to happen. The first thing that's going to happen is 10% will come off your order automatically. The second thing that'll happen is the bonus that Sarah just showed you will pop into your cart for free. So it's a free added bonus when you add 2 or more items from the new arrivals category to your cart. Now, when you're over there and you're adding things to your cart, there are going to be a couple exceptions when it comes to the 10% off. That would be like the wool batting that we sell, any threads that are on there, like the Vanish Light or the monopoly, the strip stick, that kind of stuff is going to be an exception to the 10%. But it can get you a bonus and it can get you to the free shipping, which is at the $129 level. So if you've got $129 in your cart and it's shipping within the contiguous US, you will be eligible for free shipping. Free shipping will also apply automatically. Now I have a caveat that I need to tell you about. We recently started doing a customer loyalty program. So if you have like extra points in there that count towards an additional percentage off, if you're at 129 and then the 10% comes off and then some other percent comes off from your loyalty and you dip below the 129, the free shipping won't work. We ran into that last week. So just want to make sure that you're aware your cart has to be the total. That's how the code works, how it applies automatically. That's the trigger. So 129. Now, again, if the 10% or the loyalty takes you below the 129, the free shipping will not apply. And as always, if you have any questions or something's just not looking like it should, you can reach out to Nina and we will get you taken care of, promise. Okay. Okay. You want me to keep going?
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all. Okay. So we want you to participate. We invite you to participate. Now's the best time during workshop pricing because you can take advantage of the bonus and the 10% off and even the free shipping if you get to the 129 within the US. But that pricing doesn't last forever. It just lasts during the workshop, which is today and tomorrow. So Thursday, September 11th, that will go away at midnight. It'll expire. So if you're in need of a trimmer or battleizer, or you just really want to get the fabric kit, something like that, now really is the best time to get your hands on that. Okay. Excuse me. All right. The other thing, I want to talk tools. If you put a number 1 in the comments earlier and you're still watching and you're thinking about placing an order, I want to help you out, because what I don't want to happen is you come back tomorrow and we show you this amazing trimmer and you're like, well, dang it, I would have just put that in my order. It could have got me my 10% off and the bonus. I want you to know about it right now. Sorry, you guys, I'm coming off of a sickness. I'm going to pause and just take a drink real quick. Okay, so the top row where you see the battleizer, the 2 types of scissors, and the trimmer by George. These are all Hoop Sisters products. They're all our products. They're fantastic. They're designed specifically for use with our designs. And they're also included in the 10% off. So if you need any of that stuff, we're going to actually show how to use the trimmer tomorrow on day 2. But wanted to let you know about that. The things on the bottom are also products we know, love, and recommend. They're not Hoop Sisters products, and they are excluded from the 10% off. Same with wool, which I should have put on here because Sarah used wool in a really cool way this time around. So I just wanted to make sure I explained that. Okay, day 2 is coming tomorrow. We still have a giveaway to do, you all. So the keyword, by the way, was donut, spelled like us Americans spell it. And so if you are on YouTube or Facebook watching live, type the word donut in the comments and we're going to do the giveaway shortly. Now tomorrow we're going to come back and we're going to do, Sarah's going to do a trimming, pinning, joining demo. She's going to demo the trimmer by George and show you really how simple it is to kind of put all these little blocks together into the wall hanging. So that will be tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Sarah.
Yes.
I think what I'm going to do is the giveaway.
Yep.
And then we'll stick around. We have starred some comments and questions that we are going to go over, but I want to make sure we do this giveaway first because some of you already know all these things. So I'm going to give my screen share a go. I'm going to think everything's working properly and I'm going to hit the button. And we're going to find ourselves a live viewer winner. Okay. Miss Linda, congrats. Thank you for watching from over on Facebook. You just won yourself $50 in Hoop Sisters store credit, which is pretty exciting. So what you're going to want to do is get a hold of Nina. Best way to do it is email so she knows exactly what account to put that $50 in store credit in. So congratulations to you, dear. Go spend it somewhere nice. Well, here, it's store credit. You're going to have to spend it here.
Nice, like hoopsisters.com.
Right. Okay, what questions do we need to answer?
Let's go over there. Let me come over here.
Okay. Okay. Are we going over to this?
Yep.
Okay, where are we starting?
Let's just start at the top and work our way down. So Ruth wanted to know, do you ever tape small pieces down before you applique? So Ruth, I don't. You're probably asking because my fingers were right in there. I've run my finger over before. I know a lot of you have. It's just that happens sometimes, right? Not fun, but you definitely could tape it down like with a masking tape if you wanted to. I don't find it necessary. If you're a little nervous about getting your fingers in there, maybe use a stylus and slow your machine down. Those are 2 things that I would recommend. Let's see. Sandra said she wasn't going to order any more stuff. She didn't stick to that though. She said it's so darn cute. Just ordered.
It is cute.
Thank you, Sandra. Let's see. Candace said, if you're new, invest in the trimmer by George, the scissors, and the battleizer. You'll never regret it. I saw a couple comments like that.
So we don't pay these people either, by the way. I was actually just watching or listening to some ad and it was like Chick-fil-A and it was like paid customer or paid real customers paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't do that.
Yeah.
They're just being kind and
Yes.
honest.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Jonna said, I feel like I'm sewing with my nieces. Did
Aw.
you say scrim side up or down? I thought that was a really sweet comment.
Yeah.
Scrim side up or down. So you're talking about the battleizer.
Mhm.
I still need a scrap. Do I have one?
Can you just
around here?
unhoop that or no? Because you gotta.
Well, I want to wait on that. That's okay. She knows what we're talking about because she's asking scrim side up or down. Here we go. Yeah, so scrim side down is what I would recommend. This one is actually hoop scrim side up, but I think that's a great example. So I kind of pick at the edges, and you can see the scrim is right here, batting right here. So the scrim side feels a little bit more rough. I would recommend doing scrim side down, especially if you are stitching, you're adding your backing fabric in the hoop of your machine as you're stitching. You can see this one was done scrim side up and it stitched just fine. So it's really no big deal if you can't figure out which side the scrim is on or you hoop one scrim side up. No big deal.
Okay, I'll let you answer this. I don't know.
Is the green in the kit the same as you used? It looks to be a little lighter. So there are two different greens. Check the product description of the fabric kit on our website. There are two different greens. We had to source from two different places, two different manufacturers for the green. One of the greens is a touch lighter, but still is going to give you the same exact look for your wall hanging. But you can find those, the description and name of the fabrics and where we got it from in the product description. Okay, Pearl wants to know, where do you cut the battleizer from the block? So let me move all this stuff. So here's a block already stitched out, still has that battleizer because you're going to want to join this block to another block. We're going to go over all of this tomorrow in more depth, Pearl. But we have a tool called the Trimmer by George. That's what some of the other hoop sisters, I'll call them, were saying in the comments that this is a must-have. It's got this nice crimped metal edge on it. And what it does is it protects the fabric on the front of the block while allowing you to trim away your battleizer right up to your basting stitch to remove all that bulk from your seams. So come and join us tomorrow because I'm going to show you in depth how to use the Trimmer by George and then also an awesome pinning technique for joining your blocks together.
So we've talked about this a little bit today, but let's just kind of summarize this for Bernadette.
Yeah, so battleizer is a batting and stabilizer combination. So you can see this is battleizer, by the way, that this block is stitched on. It still has movement to it. Now there's vinyl in this block and there's a lot of satin stitching. So the vinyl is going to make it thicker. I'll just be honest. And you guys know that the vinyl will make it a little thicker. But you can see on those edges where the vinyl isn't, it still has a lot of movement. It's the batting and stabilizer combination. So instead of hooping a stabilizer and then floating a batting over the top, we just hoop just the battleizer product. And then we trim right up to the basting stitch, but keep your scraps because you're going to have a scrap piece about this wide. You can use those scraps to Franken-bat them together and then rehoop it and your blocks will stitch fine on Franken-bat. And we'll talk about Franken-bat more tomorrow as well. Okay, what else? Got any other starred comments?
Let's see. I don't think.
Did I answer them all?
Oh, this I thought was fun.
Oh, I don't know.
We can't tell you, but it's going to be good. Come back for that later. Come back for that later. Okay.
Okay, you want to hop back over here?
Yes. Sorry, we're just making sure we've got.
Let's do. Oh, you're not touchscreen.
No, I'm not. But you can point and I can click.
Okay. Angela on YouTube said, if you are using wool in your blocks, do you press your block before attaching to your quilt? So I press all of my fabric prior to stitching my block out, right? And then you're going to stitch your block out and there's going to be wool in those certain areas. Obviously, if you press wool after it's in your block, if I join all my blocks together and just lay my blocks flat to press my seams to one side, it's going to flatten out all of that wool. So don't do that. There is a tool called a strip stick.
Somebody took it.
Again, I'll talk more about tomorrow. I didn't grab it because we do joining on tomorrow. We'll do joining, but we'll talk to you about a strip stick. It's essentially a
dowel,
padded wooden dowel that has a flat side that you can lay the seam over so that you're only pressing on that seam as opposed to flattening out your entire block.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. I think we've got all the comments that
Awesome.
were visible at the time. We do our best. We do our best. Okay. So just real quick, I want to remind you all that the workshop pricing does expire tomorrow, Thursday, September 11th at midnight. So if you need 2 or more items from that new arrivals category, now is really the best time to do that. And then also, if you have any questions that maybe we didn't get to, or something's not looking right in your cart or the free gift, something like that, get a hold of Nina and she is available to help you after the live. Her phone number and email is listed right there. We will drop that order link in both those places one more time too. Excuse us. So you can get directly to where all the good stuff is. And then, of course, we will be back tomorrow as well doing trimming, pinning, joining. Sarah is going to show you the trimmer by George. We've got a really cool anchor pinning technique.
Yep.
And it'll start to make sense as to how this all comes together. So we're excited to do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we can both not cough tomorrow.
I hope we don't. That'd be great.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Reach out with questions. We're happy to help.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.